The question I get asked a lot is, what do we do if we've already given our child social media? He or she is not 16 yet. What do we do next? First, I'm going to assume you made that loving decision because you believed it was best for your child. So if you have looked at your child and said, this son or daughter of mine is responsible, they have healthy relationships, emotions, sleep, enjoyment, time, and the social media addition to their life is a net gain, then you're doing fine, and your only job is to make sure that you're building hedges around it so that when something goes wrong, you're the first one to respond because you're a loving adult and you give good gifts, not things that are going to harm your son or daughter. And I say when something goes wrong because it is social media, so it is an algorithm or an AI directing content towards a minor, with the majority of the people on the internet not being minors. So you have a bunch of adults of a range of interests, moral beliefs, and purposes that are going to be in the exact same spot as your young child, and you need to know when the internet goes wrong. I'm not always worried about what your child is going to do. I am worried about what happens to your child when someone else does whatever they want to do. So first, have a hedge. That's a hedge around the device so you know what's happening on the device. This would be like using something like Bark, but on an Android device, because Bark can't see what's happening in a social media app. Then you need a hedge around your network. If your child's using Wi-Fi to use social media, you need to make sure that Wi-Fi has appropriate safety mechanisms to make sure a minor is safe in a space not made for minors. The internet is not made for children. Every time we try to make it for children, it gets creepy because adults pretend to be children and show up there. So it's not made for kids. We need to at least put some level of hedge and loving boundary around that. And third and finally, a relational boundary where we have an open conversation with our child. I have a 12-year-old, a 10-year-old, a 7-year-old, and I have conversations with each and every one of them about the tech they can and can't use. Sometimes it is literally because, you know what, guys, I'm just not comfortable with that tech. We're not going to use it. Sometimes it's because I know there's a danger. Relational AI is a bad idea. Children of mine know you may not just sit down and talk to Chat GPT like it's a person. It's not a person. It's a program, and I refuse to allow you to speak to it when it references itself in the first person, right? It cannot use I. It's not an I. So I have personal umbrage with that. You can communicate that to your children. It doesn't mean they always like it. It just means you're coming from a place of real care for what you know in this moment. And third and finally can be when you see it affecting them in a poor way. So if you give your child something that you thought was healthy and it ends up not being healthy, you can say, hey, I made a mistake. Remember those 5 things I listed: relationships, emotions, sleep, enjoyment, time. If one of those gets worse because of the tech, you just have the conversation like, hey, I've noticed you seem to not be getting as much sleep, or you seem to be having more drama with your friends, or you seem to be more mean to your siblings. Like whatever the thing is, you just say it out loud and have a conversation because you're building the relationship. You care more about having a healthy young adult than a safe child. There's ways to raise safe children, but they don't always come with good outcomes. We are called as parents to lovingly address our children's hearts. And in doing that, technology has an outsized impact on their minds and hearts because it's where their peers are, it's where influence is, it's where the world is happening. And we want to make sure we give them a childhood to develop themselves before they go into the foray of the digital space. So first and foremost, I'm assuming you gave it as a good gift that you have boundaries. That would be my second one. Make sure you have those hedges around the device, around the network, around your family in conversation because you love your kid. You don't fear them. I like to say that they're not problems to solve. They're people to love. Let's keep that in mind. First, I'm assuming you did it well. Second, that you've got hedges. Third, please know that as a parent, if 1 and 2 are not true, either you didn't think it through all the way or the hedges are not there, it is perfectly reasonable and loving to go back and say, hey, I made a mistake. I gave this too early, or we didn't think this out enough, or it's clearly having a negative impact on you. We're going to remove social media. I'm not mad at you. I'm not scared of social media. I'm not misinformed on what's out there. Like, I love you a lot and I want you to have all the good gifts. And this is not a good gift. You can use those words, by the way. These are words you can say. I gave you something thinking it would be good. It either has proven to not be good or I have not vetted it thoroughly. So parents, own the mistake if it's on us, or allow your child to wear the weight of, you know what, you're not ready for it. And it's showing up in your schoolwork, in your friendships, in your personal health, in your search history. Like, it's not something that we're going to fund and make part of this. And I love you. And we are going to hang out with real world people and have fun together. And you can use that app on my phone. Like, we're going to make this work. I'm going to find ways to say yes, but not to things that are self-destructive or harmful to you. Like, I don't hate you. I love you. So I'm going to give you a good gift. So parents know that you are equipped, you are empowered as loving parents to go out there and first give good gifts. Make sure that they're 16 for social media. And if they're not 16, make sure that they are healthy in their relationships, emotions, sleep, enjoyment, time. Then make sure that you've got hedges around the device, the network, and your family in conversation and relationship. And finally, keep your eyes out if something goes sideways. If something ends up going badly, you have the parental privilege of saying, no, this is not good. We're removing it and we're going to replace it with something that is going to be safer and something that's more appropriate for your age, because we want you to have friends. We want you to have a childhood, and then we will help you figure out how to be an adult in a digital space. But that comes with maturity and with healthful choices. So parents, go out there and parent well. I look forward to seeing it, and I look forward to helping you on the way.